This podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised, as the content may include strong language, adult themes, and topics not suitable for younger listeners.
This podcast has no affiliation with any sports leagues or sports programs discussed on the show. The views expressed are those of the host and the guest, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated organizations. Enjoy the show. All right, Zach, let's get this thing going, man. Let's get it fucking chirping.
Yo, check it out, man. Yo. Yeah, what up, what up, what up? I'm in here right now, and you know I'm dressed up. I messed up a few times, but shit, so what? It's fine because I just don't give a fuck. Just don't give a fuck. What in the world are you? Just don't give a fuck. What in the world are you? Just don't give a fuck.
Welcome to episode 2, January 10th, 2025. Man, that sounds weird. 2025. It's a good looking number if you write it down, though. I will say, some numbers you write down a year, you're like, I don't know. It don't feel like that. It don't look right. 2025, it looks good. It looks good. We have a big episode planned for you today because today, it's Quitter's Day. Quitter's Day. As you've seen from commercials on the television where I learned about it, Quitter's Day is the most common day that people give up on their resolutions. I did it last week, so I'm ahead of the game.
I wonder if the Quitter's Day is when my dad quit on the family and walked out. What do you think?
That is the day you went and got milk.
Yeah. Dad, if you're listening to this, it's been 17 years. You can come back any day now. Anyway, we got a hell of a show today, don't we, Jay?
Yep. This is what we got for you today. We're gonna give you something you already know. Hear me out.
Good.
We're gonna do Parlay or Die Sports News Network. That's a good one.
Fantastic.
As you heard last week, it's the only place I get my news from, where none of it is journalism, all speculation. And then we got Blitz the Book. That's our weekly pick segment. You can't go wrong there. We're giving you ideas to make money. You don't even have to think about it. Just follow, and you're gonna make money.
Wow.
And
I wish someone would hand me free money.
we're gonna do some celebration for the holiday. For our last segment of the day, we're gonna give you a top 5 draft of the best 5 quitters, in our opinion, best 5 quitters of all time. And Tommy, I'll tell you, my number 1, you might not remember, but you'll remember after. That's some nostalgia for you. Be ready for that. My number 1, that's a hell of a pick.
Ooh, you got a lot to look forward to, so stick with us and don't quit. All right, and for our next segment, we've got Hear Me Out, where we've got some hot takes that will make you wonder, do they actually believe that? Jay, what's your first hot take?
Hear me out. I think I failed at my New Year's resolution in record time this year, and I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. I lost a bet actually later that day on the 1st, and I've actually been on a losing streak ever since. I've doubted myself as a man, as a friend, as a son to my mother. I've just let myself down. But today is Quitter's Day, so other people have joined me by now in failing. And that's what keeps us going.
So, hear me out. We need to make basketball harder. Too long has the NBA absolutely dominated the ESPN top 10 plays. Every time you fucking turn on the top 10 plays, you'll have the number 2, the number 3, be some crazy triple play out of baseball, some fucking free kick from soccer from 40 yards out. And the number 1 would be LeBron James fucking dunking. It's absolutely ridiculous. I hate it. It's fucking stupid. I want it to end. How do we do it? Let's actually change the parameters of basketball. Think about it. When was the last time you watched an NBA game and were like, okay, that's challenging? Those guys, those fucking freaks of nature, are 7 feet tall on average, and they are just having an easy time shooting threes, layups, and all that stuff. We need to make the hoop a little bit taller. That's it. Shoot it up about 5 feet, and suddenly dunking becomes a lot harder again, and everything becomes challenging again. No longer we're going to have 200, 400-point games. Now things are finally reasonable again. I just think it's going to make the game more exciting.
The UFL starts March 28th, 2025. I'm a lifelong Defenders fan. I watched the XFL, UFL now. Hear me out. The UFL is a shit name. XFL was the better of the two in the joint merger. It's the better name, and they went with UFL. It's like the NFL's little shit, like learning disabled brother. I was trying to think of the best way to say that. He's got a learning disability. And you have to tell your fans, the NFL has to tell your fans, like, hey, Mom, can my slow little brother come along with us because he has no friends or fans? XFL should have been the name. They should have kept that name. Like I said, I'm a day one DC Defenders fan. Let's go. So I think that they fucked up big, and they can fix this by just going back. XFL had like a history of like being, like it's nostalgic. It gives people that feeling of back in the day when Vince McMahon was the commissioner. Like, that's crazy shit. And he hate me. Like, that was great stuff. And it's all like, it kind of gives you that nostalgic feeling from being the XFL. And the UFL, like, we have no nostalgic link to that. I think it was a previous name for a league that no one watched. So it's just a crap name. Let's go back to the XFL. It's easy. Make it easy. Rock, give us what we want.
Hear me out. You know what every sport is missing? The penalty box. One of the most exciting things about hockey is the penalty box. I absolutely love it. We needed to encourage it in every sport. Think about it. If every sport had a penalty box, everything really just cranks up a notch. Basketball would no longer have the title of bitchiest sport. Football, you can actually have some fucking aggression let out. I guarantee the total amount of penalties in games will go down if you allow them to actually start fucking fighting halfway through. Get the aggression out, let some punches be thrown, and everyone's back with some good sportsmanship. We need the penalty box.
All right, so hear me out. This is a major gripe I have with NFL and some of its veteran players. Hear me out. I think there should be an asterisk next to Super Bowl winners that are just veteran players that played for a shit team their whole career, and they feel like the NFL and the world owes them a Super Bowl ring. A Super Bowl champion is a fucking champion. They went and won that shit. You're literally playing tag along because you think the NFL owes you a ring. What? This isn't fucking Zay Jewelers. Go buy you a ring elsewhere. People that's done this is LaShawn McCoy did it twice with Kansas City and the Buccaneers. Deion Sanders with the 2000 Ravens. Odell Beckham Jr. with the Rams. Zeke is attempting to do it right now. I was hoping he'd get signed to the Eagles, so when he gets beat in the first round by the Packers, he would have been fucking out like he was on the Cowboys for all those playoff runs. But the Chargers, at least he'll win one game because they're going to swap on the Texans. So good luck with your second round exit, you bum. You're a water boy that wears football pads for 4 quarters.
Lastly, hear me out. We need to have more fan base involvement in our pro games. I think every pro team must be forced to do an invincible style tryout and have one player be from the local team or from the local city and be an actual part of the team. Think about it. Teams right now are moving from city to city all the time. They're changing names, and it's just no consistency, and it feels like there's no pride about where they're actually located anymore. This is how you get some community engagement build up and get the fans more involved. Have an invincible style tryout for every sport, basketball, baseball, football, every single one of them. And take a regular Joe Schmo, the best one of course, and have them be on the team for a year. Let them play a few games. They don't have to do crazy, but I just think it makes it more fun and gives everyone a chance to live out their dreams of being Marky Mark.
This Saturday at 4:30 p.m., the Los Angeles Chargers take on the Houston Texans. The Texans are at home this week. Spread is -2.5 to the Chargers. Over under 42.5.
We have Chargers in Texas against the Texans. Chargers are the favorite by 2.5 with the over under at 42.5.
Well, I mean, anyone that's watching football nowadays is seeing that the Houston Texans whole team is pretty much on IR. They have maybe one receiver that started at the beginning of the year in their top 3 receivers. it's looking real bad for the Texans. They're at home. They should be a favorite. They're not the favorite. They're versing a Harbaugh in his first season that is blowing people's minds. I think bolts up on this one. I'm going to go Chargers to cover, and I would stay away from the over-under because it could be a very low-scoring game with Harbaugh's defense and Houston not being able to do much. Chargers haven't won many games by like 14 points. So I think it's going to be low scoring. I'd probably stay away from the over-under in case it does pop off in Houston. But I would go Chargers, -2.5. Tommy, what are you looking at, man?
I like it. I like Chargers covering. I think you're right. I think the Texans are just fucking limping down the stretch on this one. They just want to see the end of the season. CJ Stroud, these last 6 games, has not performed well. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Panthers stats, but Bryce Young, these last 6 games, has had a far better performance than CJ Stroud. You know the Texans are really wishing they didn't pick up that Ohio State piece of shit. But it is what it is. They have who they have. And I think with that Ezekiel Elliott on the sideline, keeping everyone motivated to stay in the field as much as possible, they don't want to. The offense does not want to be on the sideline with Ezekiel. He's trash. He's toxic. I think they're going to be out there scoring a bunch. I'm not afraid to hit the over just because I think the Chargers are going to be having a scoring fest.
Fuck Zeke.
This Saturday at 8 p.m., the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are at home this week. Spread, -9.5 to the Ravens. Over under 43.5.
We got Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Ravens on this one, Tommy. Saturday, 8 o'clock. It's a night game. What are you seeing on this one?
I'm seeing the Ravens having a dominant season. I don't think it stops here. I think they just plow right through the Steelers. I think the Steelers, their quarterback situation is mid at best. I think Lamar, Derrick Henry, I think they just have a field day with this. I think it's another rivalry game. You know, the Steelers have like 20 rivals. Them, the Ravens, the Browns, Bengals. But the Ravens are going to really bring it in hot and heavy. I'd like the Ravens, 9.5.
I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens as well. That's a lot of points, but I know it's a night game in Baltimore. They're going to be rocking their black uniforms. I'm pretty sure this season, don't think I'm wrong here, the Ravens are undefeated in their black uniforms at night.
Oh, damn.
It's like a thing for them. The only time they didn't wear them, I think, was a Thursday night game. They wore the purple unis, which were pretty cool, but at night they wear black at M&T Bank Stadium. Ravens -9.5. I think Russ is on a 4-game skid at the end of the season. It's a terrible time to take a losing streak. And I think the only thing that Russ is danger Russ to is Future's relationship with his kids.
This Sunday at 1 p.m., the Denver Broncos take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are at home this week. The spread, -8.5 to the Bills. Over under 47.5.
All right, we're picking the Denver Broncos at Bills. Starts Sunday at 1 o'clock. As he said, the spread is -8.5 to the Bills. Over under 47.5. Tommy, what are you seeing on this one?
I think I'm seeing what everyone else is seeing. The Broncos have done well this season. Hats off to them. I mean, you guys did what no one thought you would do. You won a game. I thought you guys would be terrible because their quarterback, Bo Nix. I had a Bojangles biscuit a few weeks ago. Drier than shit, terrible. And I just associate that with their season. But no, surprisingly, they made the playoffs, and I think this is just the end of it. I think the Bills are just going to run gravy all over those biscuits and just going to swallow them whole.
I'm a Bills fan. I think this is a clean one. I do think the Broncos cover. Bills are going to win. Over 47.5 is easy. That's easy money. Both scoring teams. Broncos have the better defense if we had to choose. Buffalo is a high-powered offense to combat that. I think Bo's going to still be able to score. My picks for this one would be Broncos to cover, and let's go over on 47.5.
I like it. I think you do it every day.
This Saturday at 4:30 p.m., the Green Bay Packers take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are at home this week. Spread is +4.5 to the Packers. Over under 45.5.
All righty, we got Green Bay Packers versus the Eagles at Philly. Sirianni is he's the only person that gets threatened their job on 4 losses. If he loses, that conversation is definitely going to happen with the Philadelphia Eagles fans. They're going to say, get this guy out of here. He's trash. Another first-round exit. Who is he? The Cowboys? Tommy, what are you seeing on this one?
Well, you're not going to like it, but I think the Eagles are flying higher on this one. I'm taking them to cover. I think -4.5. I don't love the Packers. I don't love Jordan. I don't know what it is about them. Everyone's been rooting heavy for them this season. I just can't get behind them. I'm going Eagles. I like the locals.
I'm going to put something down for you.
Okay.
Philadelphia's nickname as a city.
City brotherly love.
Brotherly love. Jordan Love. Jordan Love is going to take Jalen Hurts. He's gonna spin him around in a chair. He's coming off a concussion. He can barely walk. Sal Powell is trying to report that Jalen's going to make it back in time. How you going to do a tush push with a quarterback that just had a concussion and he's going to lead with his fucking skull? I think it's going to make him ineffective in the tush push. Brotherly shove. And the city of brotherly love is going to stand for Jordan Love. I'm going to take Packers. First round exit by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh.
Sirianni, be ready. I'd have Dom protect you a little bit because they're going to be throwing shit at you.
Yikes, a little clash up.
On Sunday at 8 p.m., we have the Washington Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Commanders are going to Florida this week. Spread -3 to Tampa. Over under 50.5.
Alrighty, Jay, we've got an exciting one for you. Ooh, heavy investment. We have the Washington Commanders downstairs in Florida against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay favored by 3 points even. Over under set at 50.5. The highest all weekend. What do you like?
There's no secret to what I like. Jaden Daniels is going to go fucking ham on Baker. It's going to be nuts. Todd Bowles ain't going to know what to fucking do. He better hide in that damn pirate ship up there at the stadium, Raymond James Stadium. If they haven't changed the name, people are big on changing names nowadays. It's still the Redskins. I think it's an easy one. Commanders +3. Over under 50.5. I think you're going to go over. A lot of points are going to be scored. Jaden's big in the fourth quarter. If you're looking for any time for them to score a lot of points, 1 quarter, fourth quarter, okay. I would do that, book that. And fuck the Bucks. Last time we won a playoff game was 2006, I believe, and it was against the Buccaneers, so fuck them. And rest in peace, Sean Taylor.
R.I.P. Jay, I'm going to have to go against you on this one. I hate to fight you, but man, you guys know. -3, that's just 1 field goal. That's overtime. And overtime is where the Bucks thrive. Oh, you're talking about a fourth quarter menace? Jalen Daniels doesn't have a fucking candle to Baker. Baker's in the kitchen. He's hot. He's burning up. You got to take him out of the oven. I mean, he's smoking. Oh, crack a window. Turn on that little fan thing above the stove. I mean, he is going to be electric. And Mike Evans is playing. They're going to be scoring a bunch of touchdowns. And I think Washington is just not there yet. Maybe in another decade.
Mike Evans, we do have his arch nemesis on the team, Marshawn Lattimore. They had plenty of great matchups when he played for the Saints. Fuck Mike. Fuck Baker. I think you're going to be upset, Tommy. You may lose a little bit of money. Let's go Commanders.
I will not be. Go Pirates.
This week, Monday Night Football brings you the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are at home this week. Spread -1.5. Over under 47.5.
All right, next we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay, former Commanders coach. I will say that. We let a lot of good people out the room. Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay. Kevin O'Connell was there, who's also coaching. 2 Commanders coaches in this game. 2. What are you seeing, Tom?
Well, I think that just kind of solidifies it. I am definitely taking the Vikings. I think the Vikings, Sammy D's having a hell of a season. You know I love our former Panthers quarterbacks. When they leave Carolina, they start thriving. and comeback player of the year. Sam Darnold's career, unfortunately, he's won himself out of a job next year. He's too expensive for what he's worth. He's going to get the most he can out of this year. I think he's got one more game. I think this one, maybe the next one, depending on who they play. But I think Sammy D's got one more game in him before he's forced to retire.
I think Sammy D needs to break out the Vans for game day because he's going to fucking go to the moon. I'm taking Sam Darnold. He's playing for a contract next year. If he wins a Super Bowl, you don't let that quarterback walk out of a team. J.J. McCarthy looks like some surfer punk that doesn't know how to play football for shit. If Jim Harbaugh wasn't his former coach, I'd say, what the fuck were you thinking, KOC? And then I heard today on a sports show on ESPN, KOC, a fiery response after a loss, saying this shit's not going to fucking happen anymore. We're going to fucking win it out. And I believe KOC. KOC's going to, he's got the boys chirping. Maybe the loss to Detroit was a good thing for them. They didn't get the first seed and lose some home games there. But you got your boys fired up. They just came off a loss where they didn't look great. I think that's going to completely change. Monday Night Football.
You heard it here first. Vikings, 1.5.
Growing audience of sports fans and gambling enthusiasts. Our fans are loyal and they love the hustle. And they know when to double down. Growing audience of sports fans and gambling enthusiasts. Our fans are loyal and they love the hustle. And they know when to double down.
Whether you're promoting a brand, service, or product, this is your lock of the week to reach an audience that lives for the thrill of the game. So hit us up at thomas@parlayordie.com and get your chance to get a shot of the action.
Next up, we got UFC Fight Night, live from the UFC Apex Center. For the first fight, we have Puna Soriano versus Uros the Dr. Medic. Soriano holds a record of 9-4. Medic holds a record of 10-2.
UFC Fight Night, first card of the year. It's free for a reason. I'm going to throw that out there. A lot of garbage here. They pieced together a card with names that you know, but they're not ranked people. Like I said, there's a reason it's free and on ESPN Plus. Dana hid nothing on this one. First fight we're going to pick on is Puna Soriano versus Uros the Dr. Medic. Both 6 knockouts. Medic has 8. Both 2 submissions. 7 first-round finishes. Both only had 1 fight in 2024, so ring rust can be a thing. On this one, give me the Doctor. Doctor's gonna win. Let's go win by distance. Tommy, what are you feeling?
I'm taking the Doctor all day. Uros, with this one, this is a fighter I just have watched very little of. I'm just following the favorite here. I think it's a safe bet. He's the slight favorite odds-wise, and I think Uros is a safe bet. Taking him just to win.
Minus 210, I'd put him in a parlay. Not a straight-up bet type of bet.
For fight number 2, we have Chris Action Man Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. Curtis holds a record of 31 wins, 11 losses. Roman holds a record of 13 wins and 3 losses.
For the second fight we're picking, we got Chris Action Man Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. Curtis has got the like you heard, 31-11 record, 17 knockouts, 1 submission, 7 first-round finishes. While Roman, kind of newer guy to the UFC, only has 13 wins, 3 losses. Curtis has a lot more losses. He's had 4 times the amount of fights that this guy has. He's out of a stellar camp coached by Eric Nixick. I think Chris Action Man Curtis is a live dog on this one. You can make you some money taking Curtis. He hasn't knocked somebody out in a while, so maybe by the distance he's got good output, good cardio. Let's go Action Man Curtis plus 210. Tommy.
I'm taking Curtis too. Copperfield, I know, has more experience, but I just don't like being near him. I'm taking Curtis. It's a cooler sounding name too. I like Action Man.
Action Man, that's it.
Next up in the welterweight division, we have Santiago, the Argentine Dagger Ponzinibbio, versus Carlston Mocambique Harris. Santiago holds a record of 30 wins and 8 losses. Carlston holds a record of 19 wins and 6 losses.
For fight 3, we have Santiago, the Argentine Dagger, Ponzinibbio, versus Carlston, Mocambicaris. It's a pick'em. We got to pick 'em 50-50 on this one. Santiago, like the pre-recording said, 30-8, 12 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 14 first-round finishes. Carlston is 19-6. He has 5 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 6 first-round finishes. Santiago is more experienced. I like Santiago. I get hype when he wins. He's a very exciting fighter. Doesn't like to wrestle. He likes to strike, stay on the outside. I'm going to go Ponzinibbio here, the Argentine Dagger. I think that's good money. It's 50-50. You're getting a pick 'em. I mean, just thank the odds makers for that one.
Nice. I'm taking Santiago. Like you said, it's a pick 'em. I flipped a coin. I had Santiago head. The other guy tails. Flipped it. But then someone was driving by, called me a bitch. I had looked away, lost the coin in the grass, couldn't find it. So I just decided to go Santiago. Santiago, all the way.
Can't go wrong there.
Next up, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Austin Bashi. Rodriguez holds a record of 11 wins and 2 losses. Bashi holds a record of 1 win, no losses, making his UFC debut.
For our 4th fight we're picking, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi has got a UFC debut, obviously, because he's 1-0. His one fight was on Dana White's Contender Series. I believe he's a wrestler. Rodriguez all day. Rodriguez has been in the UFC, I think, 5 years now. He's 11-2. He only has 2 losses. I would ignore that Bashi's undefeated. And I'm going Christian Rodriguez. I don't know about you, Tommy. That's a plus 215 dog for a guy that has experience versus a kid who does not. I think that's easy money here. What are you looking at, man?
Well, I know typically you'd want to avoid Rodriguez. Slowpoke Rodriguez is the slowest mouse in Mexico. But the thing about Slowpoke Rodriguez, he carry a gun, and he's packing a gun on this fight. Yeah, I think you take the experience here. It's an old dog, and he's got a few tricks to show the young pup.
Yeah, I don't think Bashi being undefeated is anything to look at here. It's 1 win.
Next up, we have Cesar Almeida versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Almeida holds a record of 6 wins and 1 loss. Al Hassan holds a record of 12 wins with 6 losses.
Next one, we have Cesar Almeida versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Middleweight fight. Almeida is 6-1. A lot of excitement behind this guy. Hunter's excited. Dana's excited. The Brazilian people are excited. Christ the Redeemer is excited. I think he's going to be disappointed, though. Ooh. I'm thinking Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He's been upsetting folk. He's got power. I think after the first round, you're going to see Cesar. He's going to start trying to do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's not going to want to stand with this guy. I think it's going to be a real problem for him. And another live dog here. Dana's spoon-feeding you money. The odds makers are giving you meals here. Let's make sure we eat. Tommy, what are you looking at on this one?
Kind of the opposite direction. I think Caesar's salad over there, I think he is, if he starts to wrestle with him, go to that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's going to wrap around him, and those are hard to beat. I just don't think you're tossing salad off this one. I'm taking Caesar.
All right.
Next up is our main event. We have number 8 in the UFC strawweight division, Amanda Ribas versus number 6, Mackenzie Dern. Ribas holds a record of 12 wins, 5 losses. Dern holds a record of 14 wins and 5 losses. This fight is a rematch.
All right, and for our main event of the evening, we have 8th-ranked Amanda Ribas versus number 6th-ranked Mackenzie Dern. Strawweight fight, 115. Ribas is boasting a pretty good record. I think the records are pretty close. Neither of them are really knocking people out, but if someone's getting a knockout, it's Ribas, because Mackenzie Dern hasn't knocked out anyone. What I'm feeling here, Ribas won the first fight. Mackenzie struggles with fighters that put out a lot of activity. Good cardio is bad for Mackenzie. She usually fades in like rounds 3 to 5 in these 5-rounders. Hebos is coming off a loss to Rose Namajunas. Rose Namajunas is a bad motherfucker. Like, she knocks people out at 115. Doesn't happen a lot. She's on a win streak. She lost her last fight, but she was on a win streak before that. So she's a tough opponent. I don't take that against Amanda. Amanda won the first fight in 2019 between the two via unanimous decision, which means all judges agreed on it. And usually none of the judges agree on it because they're all fucking garbage. It's a real problem in the UFC. I'm going to go Amanda Hebos. She's going to make a statement. She's going to out-produce Mackenzie Dern in this fight. It's just going to be too much for her. She's going to really try to go to wrestling around round 3. Hebos is good at stuffing a takedown. I'm going to go with Hebos here. Unanimous decision. They're going to go the distance. And Mackenzie Dern is going to be bruised, bloody, and tired as shit when that final whistle goes. Tommy, what are you looking at, man?
Same thing. I think it's Hebos for her pleasure. And yeah, that's what I'm taking too. I do not follow the ladies as much as you do, unfortunately. So I am going to my UFC expert. I called him earlier. It was Jay. He told me to take Rivas. That's who I'm following.
Now, this is nothing against Mackenzie Dern. She is the prettiest fighter in the whole UFC. And her backside, boy howdy. She has a donk. A badonkadonk. I'll say it, a badonkadonk. But that don't win you fights. Hebos is going to take this one. And Mackenzie, you are a pretty woman. All right, for NHL picks, where we're not in the postseason, there's like 20 games in a weekend, more if you count Friday. We're going to give you 2 parlays that each of us like. We're going to tell you what those picks are, what day they occur on, and show you how to make some freaking money off of these 2 leagues. For NHL, Tommy, what do you have for us, parlay?
Oh, we've got the Caniacs Saturday against the Ducks. You take the Canes every time. Canes money line. Then we've got the Kraken money line Saturday also against the Sabres. Then following that, we've got the Penguins money line Saturday against the Senators. So we're taking Canes, Kraken, Penguins for a triple parlay for you to make some money. Money, money, money.
Alrighty. Mine, I'm going to say this parlay, it gives you like notes of Jay. There's a little bit of me everywhere in this.
Okay.
Hurricanes -1.5. They're going to beat that spread. Hurricanes are my favorite team. It's time for a fucking storm surge. You got Storm Brews. Woo! There's some bad motherfuckers over there in Raleigh. Canes -1.5. Second pick, I'm going to go Caps -1.5. Why? A little bit of Washington right there. Washington's going to go on win some games this weekend. They're going to be some happy folks there in D.C.
Yeah, Washington might win the game.
-1.5. And I'm going to go end it a little bit less odds on this one. -245. Makes it a good parlay. Utah Hockey Club, you know, like the Washington football team. It's iconic names. So, and I think their coach is pretty.
Oh,
I bet a lot with my dick. A lot with my dick. That's why I bet with my heart too. And I love her. She's pretty. I'm going to go, that's that parlay. Hurricanes -1.5. Caps -1.5. Utah money line +652. Book it.
Solid.
For NBA, it's going to move the same as the NHL. There's a lot of freaking games for the NBA. They play a ridiculous schedule with over 72 games, I think, is their regular season, which is insane.
Damn.
We're going to make some parlays for you, tell you what our plays are for the weekend. These tickets, they're going to be money. Tommy, what do you have?
All right, up first, we have the Celtics Saturday money line against the Hawks.
I like the Celtics. That's a good pick.
Oh, yeah, you can't go against Missouri over there coaching. Then you have Lakers money line against the Spurs Saturday. LeBron, he's still got a little bit of fight left in him. And then last, coming in the rear, we have the Clippers money line Saturday against the Hornets. You can always bet against the Hornets, just in general. Not every team in Carolina can be a winner like the Panthers.
All right, my ticket is a Friday NBA game. Let's call it a paycheck play. You're going to get paid today. Rockets money line first leg. Everyone knows they're versing the Grizzlies. Ja Morant put the gun away. He ain't got no gun. He ain't shooting for shit. Ja Morant's going down. Rockets money line. They've been playing on fire this week. or this year. It's like they've been shot out of a fucking rocket. I'm going to go Rockets money line. Second pick, we're going to go Golden State Warriors to beat the Pistons. For it to be this close, even I imagine it's because they believe Steph Curry's going to sit out. With no Steph Curry, these Detroit Pistons aren't winning this fucking game. Draymond Green will score more than 3 points to make sure that doesn't happen. The Pistons are garbage. They're destined to be garbage. They will always fucking be garbage because that's what garbage is. It might have been once been food, but now it's garbage.
It's garbage.
Yeah, they're garbage. No one's living on that. And then lastly, I'm going to go OKC Thunder money line. Why do you ask? Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is on fire. He has 3 straight seasons of 30-plus points with a field goal percentage over 50%. The only person to ever do that, Michael Jordan. The only person to have 2, no one in the NBA. No one's ever done it twice.
Damn.
These 2 have both done it 3 times.
Fox News personality Skip Bayless has come under fire for allegedly offering $1.5 million to a hairdresser to have sex with him. If Skip wanted to see a $1.5 million blowout at Fox, he just needed to watch the Tom Brady sportscast.
In a shocking turn of events, Indian athlete Neeraj Chopra tells a reporter that doping is becoming a great problem with younger athletes in India. And all this time, I thought cricket wasn't taking anything from baseball.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has just recently announced he will be stepping down from his position, in keeping in line with the Canadian tradition of going home early.
Luana Alonso, age 20, was sent home from the Paris Olympics this summer for inappropriate behavior. The Olympic Committee claimed her skimpy outfits created an unsafe environment by leaving her male teammates bricked up harder than the walls of the Olympic Village. When asked for comment, the SMU athletic department said, "Where she's a student athlete. We're not complaining. She single-handedly turned our swimming events to standing room only events." And that wasn't the only thing standing.
This past weekend, NFL star Jalen Johnson was seen having a small prayer for Christian Watson after suffering an apparent ACL injury, which marks the first time all season that anyone has shown any remorse or concern for a player named Watson.
Many believe Bill Belichick chose to explore college football after not being rehired in the NFL in 2024 to have more options. After his college campus tour and already being open to dating 20-year-old babes, this news host says, "Let's go, Bill." In other news, Bill Belichick announced that he is unifying brands with Blue Chew by stating, "Mental toughness is doing the right thing for the team when it's not the best thing for you," before looking at his Johnson and saying, "Do your job."
Tyreek Hill has announced he has intentions to leave Miami. Tyreek, keeping in line with every other Florida man trying to escape paying alimony to his several baby mamas, plans to go to Philadelphia.
Big news out of Cleveland. After a 35-10 ass whooping at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns have officially clinched the second pick in the NFL draft. That's right, they scored 26 points in their final 4 weeks of the season to clinch that high of a draft pick. At this point, taking the Bills to the Super Bowl is less of a goal for Coach Kevin Stefanski and more of a euphemism for tearing up a shitter.
Down the river, servants, cakes and pie. There's a world outside and it's raging. Smell the powder sky.
Number 5 on my top 5. My first pick, Max Rosekoff. In 2020, he quit UFC right after the first round. He got pieced the fuck up. Gets to his chair, is talking to his coaches, says, "Get me out of here. I'm done. The coach is trying to talk him into staying. It's freaking hilarious. The commentary was all talking about, like, this coach will lose his job. This is wrong. But the coach was just trying to, like, tell the kid, like, if you leave and you quit, Dana White's not going to give us a call back. So they were just trying to, like, hey, you might want to just finish this one out, take the ass whoop, and then at least you have the option to come back. Kid's like, nah, get me out of here. The ref overhears and is like, is this guy wanting to quit? And his coach is like, oh, no, let us talk to him. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm trying to quit over here. So that's my number 5. I thought that was freaking hilarious. I saw it live, and one of my funnier ones is watching a kid's dreams shatter in front of him.
And coming in hot for our number 1 pick in the quitters draft, Antonio Brown, who famously quit paying his players. Antonio Brown, you may recall, became the owner of an indoor football league, and he went to a game recently, a couple years ago, in Greensboro, North Carolina, and when the team didn't perform quite to his caliber, Antonio Brown locked their equipment inside the bus, wouldn't pay them, and then fucking left. Absolutely wild. Antonio Brown's always my favorite crazy man, and I hope for one day I get to be his cracker of the day.
Number 4 on my top 5, Ja Morant. What did he quit, you ask? He quit posting selfies with guns on Instagram. I'm happy for him. It's good for his career. I believe he had to go to rehab to do that. Some people just can't kick habits, and posing on Instagram with guns, that's one of them. But when you relapse, Ja, I'm going to send you a like, brother.
And coming in at the number 4 pick, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan notoriously quitting baseball. Michael tried a short stint with the White Sox for a little bit and didn't do very well. He quit that and immediately went back to basketball where he belongs. Sometimes it's okay to be a one-trick pony.
Number 3 on my top 5, LT, Lawrence Taylor, the flat top dog. And what did he quit, you ask, besides football? I think he had to. He quit sobriety several times, relapsing on the devil's dandruff, having a little fun on the snow cane. That's quitting sobriety, something else, especially when you're risking an NFL career. But what a drug!
And coming in for number 3, number 3rd quitter, John Daly, who quit wearing shoes. I love John Daly. John Daly is who I want to be when I grow up. I just want to smoke cigs, drink Diet Coke, and play golf barefooted all day. He quit wearing shoes and hasn't been more free ever since.
Coming in at number 2 on my top 5, No Mas, Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard 2. Roberto Duran, round 8, calls to the ref, says the legendary line, "No mas." I guess Sugar taught him that shit wasn't sweet that night.
And coming in for the silver spot, Bob Huggins, who famously quit using a GPS when he needed it most. Bob Huggins likes to travel through West Virginia and Ohio hammered, and when he really needed a GPS, he said, "Fuck it, I know where I live, I know how to get there." So he drank 12 beers, quit using his GPS, and ended up at a Taylor Swift concert in Pittsburgh. Very interesting. He took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Coming in at number 1 on my top 5, Tiger Woods. Dude's a dog. His wife would agree. What did Tiger quit, are you asking? Did he quit golf, retire? No, he's still dicking around. Dicking around's what got him in trouble. Tiger Woods quit being faithful to his wife. That was a legendary headline to come across ESPN SportsCenter. Ellen Nordegren went just misery on this motherfucker after he took his Ambien for the night. She texted the mistress, like, got some facts and proved some shit for herself, and then went rat-a-tat-tat knocking on the bedroom door. Tiger's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And she's like, "Get the fuck on out." Tiger runs to his Escalade Cadillac and just drives right through the fucking bushes. She's chasing him on a fucking go-kart, mind you. He eradicates their fucking mailbox from existence and then crashes into a tree calling to his neighbor for help. That crazy bitch threw a fucking golf club through his back window. Legendary. Of all legendary quits, that's number 1. That's my number 1 on my top 5. Tiger Woods. Thank you.
And coming in hot for our number 1 pick in the quitters draft, Antonio Brown, who famously quit paying his players. Antonio Brown, you may recall, became the owner of an indoor football league, and he went to a game recently, a couple years ago, in Greensboro, North Carolina, and when the team didn't perform quite to his caliber, Antonio Brown locked their equipment inside the bus, wouldn't pay them, and then fucking left. Absolutely wild. Antonio Brown's always my favorite crazy man, and I hope for one day I get to be his cracker of the day.
Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you're not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. family matter, and the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Let me hear you say OV ho. OV ho. Say OV ho. OV ho. Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way, step that way. Then step this way, step that way.